Before we start the video, I just want to say that this is a MariBlanc Miraculous Ladybug fanfic. Just because I want to let YouTube know that, because recently I woke up to this email. They basically took away my monetization privileges. Got really stressed. I basically looked at all the notes that they sent me to say everything that was wrong with my channel, and I can't really argue with them. I mean, basically all that they were saying is that I was taking music that wasn't really mine, which is fair. Another thing they said, the content I make is from content farms. I have no idea what they meant by that. It's 100% my work, my stories. None of it is really taken or stolen from, and if they were, I would leave them in the description below. Oh, another thing that was very weird. They kept on saying, if you look here, they said that the content that exclusively features readings of materials that you don't originally create, like text from websites or news feeds. I'd just like to say it is 100% my work. It is a fan fiction I have made from a show. Yes, they are from a show, so they are taking characters, but yet again, the stories, the writing, it's my original work. I don't really understand what they mean by news feeds. I think it just kind of shows that YouTube isn't actually watching your stuff, and then take away your monetization privileges, which is great. I will be making fan fictions that is more my content. The writing will be mine, and I will be, for now on, making speed arts while I narrate the story. But because of that, it means I have to delete every single one of my videos and upload them again in the new style. So now that's all taken care of, I'd like to get into the warnings. I've made a MariChat fanfiction. Yay! This one is mostly revolving around MariBlanc, which is something that I am incredibly excited about. First chapter is called Negative Emotions. Warning though, this story is based at the end of their high school years and about to go into college. Chat Noir has never told his feelings to Ladybug, and Marinette has also not told her feelings to Adrien. The MariChat balcony scene that we all know and love has not happened yet, but will continue within this fanfiction. I absolutely hate where Marinette lives, so I have changed that to be in a normal apartment, because the thing that I've noticed about their old house was that Marinette's parents don't have a bedroom, and they don't have a bathroom that I know of, and I really want there to be one so then the parents have somewhere to sleep. So I'm gonna make them live in an apartment somewhat similar to Alia's house. But they also own a bakery building that's just down the street. I feel like them having two buildings would show off their wealth, since they are the most well-known bakery in Paris. Marinette and Chat Noir has been talking to each other as friends on Marinette's balcony to talk about their lives. This story also takes place in autumn, which I know that doesn't really make too much sense with how their school plan is going, but I need it to be in autumn. I feel like Chat Blanc would be looking nice in a nice autumn or winter setting with snow around, so in order for this story to continue, I kind of want it to be like an autumn area. Hopefully that's alright with you guys. Chapter 1. It was a lonely night out patrolling Paris again. Chapter 1. It was a lonely night out patrolling Paris again. I just waited on a small roof of a building, waiting for Ladybug. The stars were shining as the moon lit up the dark sky. You could see the tall Eiffel Tower from there. The sight of people out on a romantic midnight stroll by the Eiffel Tower with the red roses all around them. It must be nice to have someone to love you as much as you love them. Always holding each other's hands through everything, even if you're not with them at that moment in time. If only Ladybug was with me tonight. If only we could be a couple together. I have been in love with Ladybug for over 3 years now. I used to love how confident and creative she was. She stood up for what she believed in, and I have always admired that about her. I would have never had the courage to do something like that. I feel like that is the first time I've ever admitted to myself that I was in love with someone. However, no matter how many times I try to hint my feelings to her, she always pushes me away, as if she doesn't like me in that way. But I don't know why. What is so wrong about me? She does not like me. Or is there someone else in her life? And why didn't she tell me about them? Is it because I never officially told her about how I feel? Or is it because of our secret identities? To be completely honest, why do I even have to hide them? I understand why we can't tell the public, but keeping them from each other is a little extreme. I think Master Fu doesn't understand what he is doing. He did hand the Miraculouses over to two teenagers who could have wanted to be a rebel in their life, and all for what? All I did was give him his walking stick. Anyone could have done that. It doesn't prove that they are a loyal, honest, trustworthy, and a good person. I don't know what Ladybug did to get her Miraculous, but it must have been a better excuse as me, since she is the leader and more well loved in Paris. I cannot say I'm jealous. She deserves to be the leader, since I feel that I would not have the courage to do what she does every day. Anyways, I should head back. Seems Ladybug isn't coming, I said to myself, to convince me that she will never arrive just to see me. No one's path. Chat Noir jumped off the rooftop and ran back to his quiet and lonely home. He transformed into the boy Chat Noir hated the most and sat down on his bed. Adrien's room was dark, but he didn't want to turn on the lights. He felt like he didn't deserve it. Adrien dug his face into his plain white pillow. "Are you okay, kid?" Adrien's Kwame asked him with a worried expression. Plug must be thinking that Adrien's negative emotions might get him akumatized by Hakuma. "I'm fine. I'm just a little upset that Ladybug didn't show up tonight," Adrien said as he got up from his cold bed and walked over to the wall of windows. "Adrien, you are a good kid, but you must get Ladybug out of your head. I am starting to really worry about you, your mental health. This isn't healthy. You get so sad over a girl who won't return her feelings," Plug said with a scared expression. He has never been this serious before. "You need sleep. Do you know how many nights you have spent just waiting for her? Some of them last all night, and that's not healthy." Adrien didn't say anything. He got into his bed and closed his sad green eyes. "I'm sorry. It's not the only thing that's getting me like this." Adrien spoke softly to Lag. "I've noticed that Ladybug has been gathering more heroes to help out. She's been doing this quite often. I just cannot help but think she does not need me anymore. It feels like I'm the left one out. All I can do is destroy things. Anyone can do that. The others can repeat time, create illusions, paralyze people, create indestructible shields, turn it into air, water, and create lightning, create portals. How can I compete with that? No wonder Ladybug doesn't need me anymore," Adrien mentioned as he put his arm over his eyes to hide the tears. "Kid," Plug sighed. "I don't know why Ladybug is leaving you behind. I will admit, it does feel like that. Imagine how I feel. I'm the one in control of your powers, and it feels like we are doing nothing much on terms of helping Ladybug," Adrien's Kwame admitted. "But I have met her in person, with the mask and no mask, and I know for certain that she respects you a lot, Adrien," Plug said, reassuring Adrien that Ladybug is a good person with a sweet smile on his face. "Thanks, Plug. But today I was thinking about confessing to her," Adrien spoke while rolling over to escape Plag's judgmental look. "I understand why you would. She needs to know, and you need to know how she feels about you in order to get over her if she doesn't return her feelings." Plag nodded. "I was then going to give her my miraculous," Adrien said quickly to save him from getting the words out wrong. Plag's eyes widened. Why was he giving him up? If Ladybug did show up that night, that would have been the last time Plag would have ever seen Adrien, and Adrien was fully aware of that. Plag changed different emotions one by one. Mad, sad, accepting, understanding. Plag could not speak. His eyes filled up with tears, even though he thought that it was impossible for him. The sound of the night breeze blew through Adrien's window. Silence filled the air.
I understand, Adrien.
Plague cried.
You've been treated horribly, been pulled along, left out and thrown away by so many people in your life. I would understand why you would throw everything away.
Plague explained as tears ran down his face. Adrien turned round and saw Plague's state. He was in tears.
I'm just upset that everything we have done together will end. I won't be able to see you again. You're my favorite master, Adrien.
Plague smiled with tears running down his face. The night breeze blew through the window once more. The freezing air flowed through Adrien's hair and gave him a slight shiver. Adrien's eyes widened as he saw his cat in tears.
I'm sorry, Plague.
Adrien spoke, not sure on what to do in a situation.
I don't want to leave you too, Plague. This life as Chat Noir has been the best for me. My dad being very controlling all the time really took its toll on me. I cannot go anywhere without permission and strict rules. You saved me from that. As Chat Noir, I can truly be myself, who I want to be in life. This fun guy everyone who would want to hang out with,
Adrien said, meaning every word, with his tears running down his skin.
But loving Ladybug was the start of what I didn't want. Because of her, I cannot yell at her, telling her it's unfair the way she treats me, and how she can replace me with other people. I just stand there, letting her do this to me and my life, because I love her. I can never have fun doing what I do.
Adrien closed his green eyes in anger as he gripped his fist tightly.
Do you hate her?
Plague asked.
No, I just want her to notice me as something more. If I tell her my feelings, everything might change for me, and we might find out each other's identities.
Adrien released his tensed hand and he calmed down.
So, depending on her answer, I might not see you again.
Plague looked down as his cat ears lowered in sadness. Adrien looked up at Plague, water running down his eyes.
I don't want to lose you, Plague, but if life as Cat Noir isn't getting any better, I have no choice but to hand you in.
Adrien said while wiping away his tears. Plague nodded. He understood Adrien's position and floated away for some alone time in his little cheese cupboard room. Adrien was terribly upset to let him go. He didn't want to lose the only person that made him happy. However, Adrien had to do what he had to do. Adrien decided to listen to Plague's first statement and head to bed. He didn't want to be tired on his last 3 days of school. In the morning, it was the last 3 days of school. Everyone at the school has finished their end of year GCSE exams. Adrien had passed most of his classes except for art. He didn't really see himself as a creative person. The last day of school will just be a normal day. He might watch a movie in celebration of passing their classes, but the main part of the day will be a fancy prom in the night. Adrien was quite excited for that. It would be nice to get Plague out of his head by having some fun with his friends and just start enjoying being a normal teenage boy. At school, Adrien was standing at the front of the school. He saw Nino with Marinette and Dahlia at the top of the stairs. Nino waved to him to signal to come up and talk to them. He smiled and waved back. Adrien walked over to them. He then greeted him a good morning. Marinette was cute as usual, and Dahlia was lively and smart as she always was. Adrien started to talk about how his weekend went with the photo shoot and all. Halfway through his story, he stopped. His eyes widened as he heard two boys talking while walking past them on the stairs.
Do you think Chat Noir isn't doing anything anymore?
Boy number one asked his friend.
Yeah, now that you mention it, why is he so lazy nowadays?
Boy number two said in response.
Ladybug should get rid of him.
Boy number one suggested.
Dude, I think she already is. All of those new superheroes could be his replacement.
Boy number two said as they both chuckled. Adrien looked down at his feet when he heard that. What was this happening to Chat Noir? What has he ever done? Hey, Ladybug will never replace him. She cares about him just as much as the other superheroes, Marinette yelled. Adrien looked up with wide eyes and saw Marinette screaming. She seemed incredibly angry, as if she took this conversation very personal.
Hey girl, calm down. They are not worth your time,
Alia said while glaring at the boys. The boys looked confused. They did not realize that they would get that sort of a reaction from someone. Marinette seemed to calm down a bit and started to put on a smile again. Why was she so attacked by this? She could be a fan like Alia.
Marinette, how do you know all this about Ladybug?
Adrien asked her, rubbing the back of his neck, looking down at his feet. Adrien was a bit nervous with what Marinette might respond
correspond with. Oh, we know each other? Marinette said nervously. Adrian's eyes widened. Marinette knows Ladybug? You know her, do that? Nino questioned as he cut off Adrien Agreste. Yeah, we are good friends. Marinette looked down at the floor. She seemed nervous, like she was being careful with her words. Maybe it's possible that Marinette knows Ladybug's civilian self. Marinette's words comforted Adrien, like a warm blanket. He thought it was nice to know that Ladybug cared about him, even if he was a bit useless in the group. The conversation ended. However, Adrien did find it strange that Alia didn't react how he thought she would. Maybe Alia already knew about this? The group headed to the classroom. They didn't do much, just a simple movie and eating snacks, which Adrien was completely fine with, to be honest. He needed the break. Not much really happened in class, but there was an Akuma attack close to the end of the school day, unfortunately. Adrien headed to the bathroom and then called out Plag. They didn't say a word, but they didn't have to. Plag and Adrien just hugged for maybe a final time in their life. Adrien then transformed into this other half and called Ladybug on his baton. Ladybug, where are you? What's going on? Chat Noir asked, with a worried expression on his face. He really wanted to be useful this time. Chat, I'm sorry, but you really don't have to help this time. Rena Rouge and I has got it covered. Ladybug smiled. He knew it. She doesn't need him anymore. Chat? Ladybug questioned if Chat Noir was okay. Chat Noir didn't say anything. Why was she doing this to him? It was supposed to be Ladybug and Chat Noir fighting against crime with each other. Now it feels like she was pushing him aside for Rena Rouge. Chat, you know I love you as much as Rena Rouge, Ladybug said with a kind smile, but it wasn't enough to make him feel better. Ladybug had no idea why Chat loved what he did for the world. She said she loved him, but not in the way that he wanted to hear. Chat Noir had to know for himself how Ladybug truly feels about him. Meet me on the rooftop after sunset. I'll send you the location. I'll be waiting, Chat Noir said, with a cold tone in his voice. Chat Noir ended the call and headed to the rooftop that he mentioned within the call. Ladybug was confused, but remembered that she couldn't visit him after because she had some quick homework to finish that her college gave her. Ladybug felt upset that she made Chat Noir feel like this and wouldn't be able to show up for a bit. Chat Noir collected some small scented candles and romantic red roses. He placed them all around and put the red roses on the railing of the roof. He really wanted Ladybug to show up so she can return his feelings. He loved her deeply and would do anything to make her fall for him. All he could do is make the confession setting romantic. It was sunset. Chat Noir looked at the news channel to see if the Akuma has been defeated, and it appears that Ladybug and Rena Rouge did. Glad to know that they didn't really need him. This is like the 30th time they have made him stay on the rooftop. Chat Noir hoped that Ladybug didn't do it again tonight. The moon and stars started to show up in the dark sky. Chat Noir was prepared to wait a bit for Ladybug to arrive. Chat Noir waited on the floor of the rooftop, looking out to the Eiffel Tower and romantic stars and brightly lit moon. An hour later, she didn't show up. Chat Noir felt betrayed. Why didn't she show up when he asked her to? Is Ladybug that bad of a person? Does Ladybug even care about Chat Noir? Meanwhile, with Marinette. Marinette was working on her first college homework. It seemed like the homework was going well, but Marinette couldn't stop thinking about Chat Noir. She felt like she really hurt him this time, especially since she had left him alone on the roof he mentioned. I hope Chat Noir doesn't mind me being late. I really have to get this done tonight, Marinette said nervously, hoping she hasn't hurt Chat's feelings for a second time today. Tiki floated through the air and landed on Marinette's soft indigo hair. She patted her head with comfort. I'm sure she'll be fine, Marinette. If you explain to him, he might understand. Tiki smiled sweetly. Marinette grunted and pulled out her chair, but pushed her legs against the desk. I guess, but I can't get the feeling that I might have really hurt him today. I don't want to make him feel like he has been left alone. Marinette looked down at her wooden floor. She hated this feeling. She felt so guilty for leaving him there. Why do you feel guilty, Marinette? You never act like this. Tiki asked Marinette, curious on what she might say. I heard these two boys today. saying that Chat Noir is lazy, a waste of space, and then I should get rid of him, Marinette said while lifting her knees up to her chin, scrunching herself into a sad ball. The worst part is, they said that I kind of am. That made me think, what if I was pushing him away? I'm not doing it on purpose. I've just been pushing him away by making him not fight as much as he used to. I've technically replaced him with Rena Rouge. I'm a horrible person, Tiki, Marinette explained, while small tears run down her face. Don't cry, Marinette. What if you get some fresh air? You could do some homework on your balcony, Tiki suggested. Marinette did like the sound of that idea. She smiled and gathered her books. Marinette opened her soft grey curtains and then the balcony doors. As soon as she opened them, she saw Chat Noir sitting on her opposite neighbour's roof. Chat looked upset. He was resting his whole body on the roof railings. He's been there a long time, hasn't he? Marinette asked Tiki. I'm sorry, Marinette, but I had to get you out on your balcony to see him, Tiki responded. Thanks, Tiki. Hopefully I could cheer him up as Marinette. She smiled while looking back at Tiki, who has gone back inside the house to hide from Chat Noir. Marinette waved to Chat Noir to get his attention, but it seemed that he didn't see Marinette. Marinette had no choice but to call out to him. Chat Noir! Marinette called out, grabbing the attention of a certain stray cat. Chat and Marinette made eye contact, and Marinette smiled. Chat Noir did the same and waved to her. He would come over there, but he wasn't sure if she was saying come over or just say hello. Marinette did the come here hand motion, and Chat Noir smiled. Chat Noir's only civilian friend as a superhero was Marinette Dupain Chang. They have talked before and has formed a great relationship together for a while now, so when Marinette called him over, he was more than happy to. Chat Noir had no need to use his baton to get down, as the houses were so close together, so he just used his cat-like reflexes to get down. Chat landed on the railing of Marinette's balcony, and Marinette made a small clap and a giggle to congratulate his little stunt. Chat loved Marinette's cute giggle. So, what were you doing up there, Chat Noir? Marinette asked, hiding her guilty gaze with a smile. Chat Noir responded with a sad look on his face. Marinette's guilt increased. Today, I prepared a special evening for Ladybug. Chat's clawed hands gripped onto Marinette's balcony railing. I'm guessing she didn't show up, Marinette guessed, knowing full well that she didn't show. I wanted tonight to be special because I was planning to confess my love for Ladybug. Chat looked up at the stars in the night sky. You're in love with Ladybug? Marinette responded with shock. She had no idea he had feelings for her, but now that she knows, it was so obvious. All of those flirtatious acts, the roses, the kissing on her hand from time to time, all became clear. But what was worse was that Ladybug didn't acknowledge it and pushed him away once more. Marinette looked down at the floor. So, why were you crying? Chat asked as he turned to look at Marinette. Marinette lifted her head in shock. How did Chat Noir know that Marinette was crying earlier? Chat and Marinette stared into each other's mesmerizing eyes. Your eyes are shining in the moonlight a lot more than they normally would, and your cheeks are stained with your tears, Chat Noir said as he rubbed the stains from her cheek. They were so soft. Marinette blushed at the feeling of his hand on her cheek and his face so close to hers. His eyes were so easy to get lost in. Chat Noir realized what he was doing, and a pink tint on his cheeks appeared as he pulled away. He started to look up at the moon to get his mind off what just happened. I think I hurt someone close to me, Marinette said as she looked down at the ground again, with blush still on her face. Alia? Chat asked. He was interested in what Marinette did that made her so sad. Chat cares about Marinette a lot, so he really wanted to help her out. Marinette responded with a slight nod, answering his question with a no. Chat was confused. Who could it be? I think I might have ignored them. Marinette sighed in sadness. Did you? Chat Noir asked her. He wanted to make Marinette feel better, so he had to find the underlying cause of this. I didn't mean to. It wasn't my intention. I was just so busy that I couldn't give them any of my time. Marinette started to tear up. Chat saw the tears fall out of her eyes again. and it seemed like she was trying to hide them. Chat turned round and faced her. He grabbed her by the arms and pulled her close to him, until she was met with his chest. Chat Noir's arms wrapped around her like a calming blanket. Marinette couldn't hold her tears any longer and started pouring them out. Chat placed his hand on her head to stroke her long indigo hair. Marinette felt like she couldn't let Chat Noir go, and that she must cherish every moment with him, even if most of the time she will be with him as Marinette. Chat Noir looked down at her and saw her calming down a bit. Chat had an idea and split himself from her, but still holding onto her shoulders. Marinette looked up at Chat Noir in confusion as he let her go, but then put out his clawed hand with a sweet smile. Marinette accepted the hand gesture and took his hand. He pulled her close to him and then placed his arm around her waist as the other arm grabbed his baton. He extended it and jumped to the next roof. As soon as Chat Noir's feet left the ground, Marinette freaked out and placed her arms round Chat Noir's neck. Chat smirked at Marinette as a little tease when they touched the ground of the roof that Chat was waiting for Ladybug on. Marinette blushed at Chat Noir's little grin and smacked him lightly at the back of his head, which he chuckled about. "Don't laugh, it's scary to do that when you don't have anything to protect you when you fall," Marinette yelled with a bright crimson blush on her face as Chat couldn't stop laughing.
Sorry, Princess, for scaring you. By the way, I thought that I was the one to save you.
Chat calmed down as he smirked at his damsel in distress.
"You better, or I'll kill you,"
Marinette smirked back.
From that height, you wouldn't be able to.
He laughed with little tears coming out of his green cat-like eyes. Marinette huffed, but then noticed the romantically decorated roof. It was covered in red rose petals and candles that enhanced the beauty of the place. "Chat Noir, this is beautiful," Marinette said. She was mesmerized at how romantic this man could be. Marinette turned round to face Chat Noir. His gorgeous glowing green eyes met her beautiful bluebell eyes as he held up a red rose.
Will this make you feel better, Princess?
Chat Noir smiled sweetly as Marinette blushed. Why couldn't Adrien be like Cat Noir? Marinette smiled with a slight blush on her face and took a hold of the red rose. Marinette couldn't look away from his eyes. It was like that time Marinette couldn't look away from Adrien's eyes when he gave his umbrella to her. Just then a loud bang of thunder hit from afar, startling Marinette and Chat Noir, but then followed by some intense blushing. Is that what they thought it was? Coup de foudre? But it's not love at first sight, is it? Just then, rain started pouring down from the grey sky. Chat grabbed a hold of Marinette and then took her back to a small balcony. "Thanks, Chat," Marinette said as she shivered because of the freezing rain.
"Go inside and warm up,"
Chat demanded. "What about you?" Marinette asked Chat Noir. She wanted him to come inside and maybe make him feel better about Ladybug not coming tonight.
"No, I should go, Marinette. I liked our talk. You helped a lot,"
Chat Noir said to his princess as he grabbed his baton. He jumped onto the balcony railing as he turned around to see Marinette's face one last time before he escaped into the night. He smiled at her and leaned in for a kiss on her forehead. Marinette blushed back as a response and then smiled. Chat then waved goodbye to her as he jumped off the balcony, disappearing into the night. Marinette didn't know how to feel. She was confused but relieved that she cheered him up a bit. She didn't want to hurt him again, but it seemed like she had to turn him down once more because the man she loved is sadly Adrien Agreste with Chat Noir. Chat Noir decided to go home because he doubted that Ladybug would show up at midnight in the pouring rain. He opened the window at the Agreste mansion and jumped inside, closing the window so none of the water would get inside.
"Claws in,"
Chat said to himself as a bright green light covered his body until he was a normal boy again. Adrien's hands were still on the window from when he closed them, thinking to himself. Plag flew out of his ring and smiled to see him again, but he thought that he would never see Adrien again. But Plag's smile quickly faded when he saw Adrien up against the window like he was about to break.
"Ladybug didn't show up,"
Adrien said, looking down at his feet as he clenched his hands that was still glued to the window.
"Seriously? How busy could she be?"
Plag wondered out loud, apparently too busy to tell me that she had plans. Adrien said as he placed his head on the cold window with tears crawling out of his closed eyes. Plag's ears dropped from sadness. Plag felt so helpless. Why couldn't he do anything about this? He could go over there and give Ladybug a piece of his mind. But what if an Akuma arrives because of Adrien's emotions? Or what if Plag makes the situation worse? No. As much as Plag feels he should help and step in, this is something only Adrien Agreste or Chat Noir can figure out.
You should get some sleep, Adrien. It's midnight. You have school tomorrow.
Plag suggested, with his ears still down. Adrien smiled and nodded in agreement. Adrien walked over to his bed and got dressed into a shirt he used for sleeping in. He laid down once he was dressed and started to cry himself to sleep. The sounds of Adrien crying in pain broke Plag's heart. He really wanted to help. Plag floated over to Adrien and landed on his head. Plag then lightly started patting Adrien's hair, along with stroking it, letting him know that everything will be okay.